Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me, your girl LiaLeigh, and I have a business video for y'all today. Clearly, if you clicked on this video, this is something that you are interested in learning more about and learning the facts, especially if you are a person living in the state of Florida. This is definitely going to give you the rundown on where to begin with opening a new business. Y'all, so first of all, I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all that I feel cute because I did me a little braided ponytail. I ain't gonna do no tutorial or nothing like that because it's hanging on by a thread, okay? So I have my handy dandy YouTube like notebook in front of me to help me stay on track with all the important things that I want to share in this video. So it's not going to be too long. It's not going to be too much information. There's 4 main points that I want to have this video based around. So the very first thing, of course, with opening a business, we're going to assume that you already know what type of business you're going to be opening. So this is more so like a brick and mortar type like checklist guideline. And definitely spa oriented. Let's make sure we keep that idea based around this video because of course I just recently opened up a spa, my spa studio. So if you haven't checked out that video, make sure you check it out. Alright, so the very first thing that you need to keep in mind, you guys, is budget. You want to set a realistic budget. You want to save as much money as you possibly can. If you don't have anything saved up, I would start more so planning and jotting down ideas of what you think your budget may consist of. So it's also important too as well to give yourself some space within that budget for anything to lean back on. If there's any like last minute things or paperwork or anything like that that you did not think that you were going to like face, you need to give yourself that leeway to be able to fall back on funds that you know are there for you to use regardless. Personally, my budget for this spa, I'm not even gonna lie, you guys, I had no idea of what budget I would had planned for. I don't know, like I couldn't even get it out clearly just now because I didn't know. I didn't know anyone that I could personally like have a conversation with and be like, so hey, how much was this? How much was this? You know? And it was literally me going through everything, every step of the way, from me researching everything and finding out everything on my own. It can be very scary doing it that way, but you appreciate it so much more. Granted, I did have, you know, a couple friends that were not in the state of Florida that I did ask certain questions to, but as far as like budgeting, that was 100% me. And I actually totaled the amount that it took me to open my business up. Everything included in the budget that I'm going to be sharing to y'all in this video. If I'm not mistaken, it was around $7,500 overall expenses, and that was everything you can think of, to the equipment, the supplies, decorations, the rent, the down payment, anything, paperwork, documentations that I had to pay for, everything. When I tell y'all everything that I'm going to discuss in this video, so let me go ahead and carry on. So I had no idea that I would be spending $7,500, and it was not a lot. Like that's under $10,000 to begin a brick and mortar tangible business. Like, you know, and that's not saying that this is better than that, but you know, even to start a business online, like you only need like $100. So starting an actual place of business where people can come and be serviced, it was under $10,000. You want to know your budget, and you really want to make a realistic budget and stick to it. If it's anything that is not a necessity, you really don't want to get carried away with wants and ooh ahs type. You want to stay away from that because it can get pricey, and then you don't want to spend money on something that you learn later on that you're like, dang, I should have saved this for that. You also need to budget insurance into your budget. I have a list that I'm going to run down really quickly so I don't forget anything. Where are you willing to start? Like, as far as how much are you willing to pay to begin a business? So just keep that in mind. So my budget and your budget should include equipment, your rent, insurance. If you are going to have to supply your own insurance, being that I am in a salon suite, they automatically give us or supply us with insurance for a year. I already had my own insurance, but they do say that, you know, we give you a year of insurance as well. So that was good. Decorations, paperwork, documents, you must consider all of that into your budget. Supplies, inventory. If you're going to be an esthetician or a hairdresser or whatever the case, you need to make sure you have inventory, meaning you have things to service people with, as well as you need to think of your retail. Inventory and retail can be extremely expensive. I don't even have a whole bunch of retail at the moment. I do have some, but I don't have where I feel like I will be comfortable to, like, you know, be like, yeah, I got some retail, let me, you know, do this. But I have a little bit of retail. If you want to see that, check out the pictures on my Instagram. You also need to consider, which is extremely important, your point of sale, your POS system. How are you going to be checking people out? How are you going to be making transactions? As far as a place of business, I do not recommend Cash App. I do not recommend Zelle. I do not recommend anything like that. You need to have a separate account and system that you are making transactions through, whether it be Square, whether it be Clover, whether it be anything that is available out there. I do use Square. I've shown my POS system on my spa tour, so check that out if you haven't seen it. And then any website or advertisement. So you want to always consider all of that, all those things into your budget. Now moving on to, I would say this is like number 2 on the list, is finding your location. So the location is something that you're going to want to take extremely serious, because whatever lease you sign, you're going to be there for that next amount of whatever time. And I know everybody's lease isn't always like, oh, a year. Or, you know, I have heard of people signing leases for like 3 to 5 years. Like, that is a true dedication. And I have never signed a lease that long, not living and not business wise. So I cannot imagine like taking on that amount of like responsibility, you know. So that's intense. So definitely depending on where you want to start out with your business, you need to make sure that you have a lot of foot traffic in or about the area that you are in. You don't want it to be a rundown street or somewhere that a lot of people aren't even driving to. Like, how are you supposed to promote your business? How's it, you know, you want that curb appeal to clients, future clients, and for pictures and promo as well. You also want to think about with your location, how far is your commute? My commute is extremely close. It's maybe if I could catch all the green lights, maybe 10 to 12 minutes. If I catch every light or red light, then it might be 15, 16, something like that, but it's not far at all. Yeah, so you want to make sure that your location is welcoming. If you are in a salon, you want to make sure that the other professionals in there are like welcoming and nice, and nobody's just giving people the cold shoulder when they walk in. Like, nobody wants to experience that type of environment when they're supposed to be pampering themselves, treating themselves and feeling good. Nobody wants that. So I also would suggest to research the surrounding cities Even if it's a city that you don't want to work in, be like, okay, well, let me see, like, living in South Florida, I know every place is not as close as the cities are down here. Like, I can go northeast, south, or west in like one street. I'll be in a totally different zip code. So that living down here was extremely new to me because it's not like that in North Carolina. So I have a lot of surrounding cities, like everywhere. So I had a good amount of places to choose from to be like, yeah, this is my work city. This is where I live at. You know. So you definitely want to do your research and the city research as well. Good thing I looked at this because I'm like, all right, so what else do I want to, mention? You want to weigh your options with finding a location. I do recommend shopping around and making sure, like, if one place offers this, does the other place offer this, or do they have any restrictions on how you can decorate or anything? Like, do they have a concierge? I had visited one location where they actually had a concierge, but at the same time, I'm like, do I really need a concierge? Like, that's not anything that I want to be getting charged extra for just because that person is there. You want to research the building if you're going to be in a suite like how I am. You just want to get a really good feel of where you are going to be working. I think that is extremely important. I think I'm not even gonna lie, I looked at 2 places. I wanted to look at another, but just because of the location, it was no place by far matched where I actually was able to end up, being at. And I'm so blessed that it was the first place that I looked at, the first room, and I was like, this is going to be where my spot's going to be at. And then, like, maybe like a month later, maybe not even that much longer, I was like, all right, I'm ready to sign the papers. Like, so I was very, very blessed to be able to, find a location that quick and actually be able to get into the same place that I found and I love. So you also want to consider how expensive the location is. You don't want to be cutting yourself, running yourself down with finances, especially in the beginning, because everything, you're starting in a humongous hole. So until that clientele starts to come in, or until people start shopping, or whatever business you have, you want to make sure that your rent is not, giving you this humongous headache and stress. So you want to be able to live within your means, even with your business. You don't want to live out of your means, because, honey, let me tell y'all, right next door to my room is a bigger room with bigger windows and a lot more space. And I was like, oh, this is really nice. But there was no doubt in my mind that I could not afford it. Like, I couldn't afford it at all. Like, I couldn't afford it at all, y'all. Not even if I wanted to super, super badly, I couldn't afford it, and I can't afford it now. So I'm happy with my choice. So going on to documents, which is number 3. So the thing is, why I feel like it is, why I know it's smarter to choose your location and have your location before you do any documentation, because the documents are going to ask for your business address. And if you don't have a business address, what are you supposed to put up there? And I know in the state of Florida, there are certain documents where you can easily change your business address, but you really don't want to go through that, because you don't want to do too much mixing up or making these companies a little confused, or these city halls and counties and all this stuff. You do not want them to be confused with a whole bunch of different addresses. So find your location. Once you have your location concrete and you have your address, that's when you can be like, all right, like, it's time to proceed with the documentation. Unless you want to go through the steps of updating your address. I know as far as the website SunBiz, if you are starting a business in Florida, start with SunBiz and start off with the US IRS.gov website, where you can get your FEIN number. because you will need that. It's not like a make or break on your SunBiz account if you have that number available, but you can literally get the FIEN number like at any time of day as long as it's in business hours, and it generates right there. You're gonna need that number regardless of what you do. And you're gonna also want to sign in to Florida tax revenue, make an account, do all the paperwork you're supposed to do. That way you can receive your resale tax certificate. That is the way that you're going to be able to sell retail, have inventory, like buy things wholesale, purchase things wholesale. Resale license, resale tax application, that is extremely important, especially for this line of business, because nobody wants to buy any inventory at full customer price, like market price. You want to buy it at wholesale. So that's the whole point, you know. So documentations, I'm going to give y'all a rundown really quickly. I really want to make this video as simplistic as possible for y'all. So you're going to want to start with sunbiz.org. You're going to want to also go on irs.gov, or if that's not the website, just type in Google FEIN number, and that should come up, and you just run your business information like that. You also want to get your business tax receipt. This is once you have your location like seriously concrete and you know this is where you're going to be at, because you have to pay for if you want your business license, if you want your business information to change or be updated in any way, 9 times out of 10 they're going to charge you for something. So you want to make sure it's the right thing the first time. You also are going to pay in the state of Florida. You have to have a county business license and a city business tax receipt, both county and city. And for me, being that I'm a salon, I have to also get a salon license, which is really simple, extremely simple. It costs, I think, like $99 or something like that. When I tell y'all everything costs money, every piece of paper costs, and you're going to receive stuff in the mail, you're going to receive stuff via email. It don't matter, it costs. So get your money together, okay? You also want to go ahead, once you do your city tax receipt in the state of Florida, I'm not sure if it varies per city, but I know in Pompano Beach, where I am located, I had to do a zoning certificate. When I tell y'all, that paperwork was so frustrating, like literally bawling my eyes out for like 2 months over the paperwork and the whole process due to COVID, stalling stuff, the way City Hall was accepting paperwork. It was like nobody's business, the most difficult thing I think I've ever been through. So yeah, you also are going to have to do an inventory affidavit. A lot of this paperwork is going to have to be notarized. So it was constant appointments back and forth to my bank. And then with the banks right now being iffy about walk-ins, luckily I am extremely like first name basis at my bank. So they were like, oh yeah girl, just come right in, we got you. And I was like, my notary was like, so we doing this all over again? Like literally, I lied to y'all not, I did like the same paperwork 3 times. Like my notary, he was just like, what's going on? And I'm like, listen dude, I almost broke down crying when he started asking questions. I was like, listen, these people don't want me to have a business. Like legit, I was overwhelmed, but I stayed prayed up. I had a lot of good, well, I won't say a lot of good people, but my circle not big to say a lot, but my close people was holding me down. And I was, you know what I'm saying, I made it through. So I also recommend with the documentation, to kind of wrap this part up, if you are nervous and you don't know where to begin, I will call the city hall. Call your city hall and ask, say, hey, I'm planning on starting a business. As far as paperwork and documentation go, can you point me in the right direction? Because the websites can be funky as heck, can be confusing. You don't know which paperwork you need, you know, you don't know what order to turn it in. It's a lot. Call and ask. If you are on the phone all day, stay on the phone all day. Keep calling back, keep getting answers, and do not take no hang-ups or nothing like that for an answer. Moving on. The last thing I want to share is just promo, which I kind of already shared a little bit. I haven't necessarily paid for any promo, but as far as like advertisement, I paid for like a little teensy weensy advertisement on Facebook just to see how it was working, and I don't necessarily care for the way that it works. They base it like, you can set your budget, but then they let you know, they're like, hey, if you get X amount of clicks, your budget can increase without you being able to like really verify it. Like, you would have to pause and cancel the campaign for you not to be charged like this random amount of number that you know what I'm saying, that you weren't okay with. So I don't really care for the way the ads are running on social media these days, because you pay per click, and that ain't right. I don't feel like that's right. If I set my budget at what my budget is, then just run my ads till my budget run out and then cut me off, you know? So yeah, but there's so many other ways to advertise. You can do paper advertisement through magazines, local magazines, through newspapers, through flyers, through business cards. You can do radio advertisement, any media, social media advertisement. You can do Google, Yelp, MapQuest. It's so many different options, because all these companies be contacting me asking me if I want to do advertisement, and I'm like, no, this is not in my budget. Like, I cannot do this right now. You can use family and friends, tell word of mouth, tell them to tell somebody. And I think that's it, you guys. Whew. Also, you can do like billboards, or even like bus stop advertisement, bench advertisement. There's so many different options. Like, get creative. So that's it. I hope this video was not too long. I think I'm running on like 24 minutes. Yeah, so this video hopefully is gonna be cut down to a little bit less than that. I hope y'all enjoyed it. If y'all did, y'all know what to do. Leave a comment down below. Pound dope, pound businesses, honey. We getting businesses started in 2020, despite the COVID, despite the pandemic. We doing black girl magic things, okay? I'm so happy to have my business open and to be sharing this knowledge with y'all, because there are seriously no damn videos on YouTube, nothing about businesses in Florida and open up in a spa. And it was so frustrating, but I made it through, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna keep track of all of this, because I'm about to help somebody else. Like, and I don't even know if this only goes for the state of Florida. This may be the same process for a nearby state or somewhere far. I know it can't be too different. The websites, of course, may have a different name, but for the most part, I'm pretty sure this stuff is very similar in every state, in every city, in every county. Yeah, if y'all have any questions, y'all know where to hit me up at. Y'all can hit me up on Glam by LiaLeigh on Instagram. Hit me up anywhere. You can message me anywhere. I don't care. Y'all know I'll be hitting all y'all back. So I love y'all so much, and I'll see y'all in my next video. I'm done talking. Bye, y'all.